Hey everyone, welcome back here. OSL round of 8. We have Type B versus Leta. Before I go into it, I had a question I posed at the end of last video, and just because, in case you didn't see it, because you saw GoGo just getting kind of owned. I'm really curious how many of you guys actually wait for our commentator videos to come out before you actually watch the games. Or maybe if you're one of those who watches them live in the Korean version and then watches ours for English. I'm just kind of curious. I mean, I definitely want you guys to be honest. You know, feel free if you watch like Clazard or any of the other guys who tend to do them real quick. I fully understand. They've been around a lot longer than we have. But, you know, we're coming on 200 subscribers, and I'm just curious how many of you guys are, you know, actually sticking around to watch ours. So that would be great. Let us know in a comment, and certainly we definitely try to reply when we can. Alright, this match is going to be on Outsider here, and it's interesting. Both of these players are on the Hite Sparkies, or Height Sparkies team, however you say it there. And one thing I didn't mention before is that there are actually 4 players from the Height Sparkies. We have, let me see here, GoGo, who we just saw play and lose. Yellow, who we saw beat GoGo, so I forgot to mention they were actually teammates. And then we have another teammate game. It just happened to be that Leta and Type B are also from Height Sparkies. So, kind of sucks because obviously, well, it's not an elimination kind of thing where they're just, at least as far as I know, where they're just going to play each other, because then they would just play each other, and obviously the Height Sparkies team would go down to just 1 each, or 2 each, I'm sorry, or 2 total. Anyways, alright, so enough of that garbage in the middle here. So, as far as this map goes, it's fairly balanced, Terran versus Zerg, so there's not really a lot of information as far as that goes. This map tends to turn into kind of like an expansion hunting battle, because you can expand all the way around the sides of the map. So it always becomes real interesting. You know, you have drops from the Zerg and tricking through minerals and lurkers, and then you have tanks, you know, shelling onto to expansions from the Terran. So either way, it's a fairly interesting map for stuff like that, and it's kind of becoming a favorite map, I think, for a lot of people here. We're going to see the standard harass coming out here from Type B. Interesting that Type B coming strong out of his round, beating Stork, and looking pretty good while doing it, beating Backhoe, who, I mean, is not an amazing player, but certainly can hold his own, and only losing to Fantasy. We do see losing the drone there by Type B. So, losing to Fantasy, but I must say, he attempted a Mutalisk, just constant Mutalisk harass, and got owned by turrets, but especially Fantasy's Valkyries of Doom. Fantasy, of course, being famous for the Fantasy build, which is usually Valkyries in dropships, or Vultures in dropships, and then Valkyries. As far as that kind of thing goes, it's great to see Fantasy actually do that and do well with it, and he did do that against Type B, and he did do well. He actually attacked with his Valkyries, versus a lot of players who like to just sit their Valkyries and not attack, which, I guess I can understand, because Valkyries are kind of a little quirky when it comes to stuff like that. Anyways, alright, we're not going to see an early expansion from Leta. He's going to try to do a 1-base game here, and he is going to try to trick his way through some of the minerals in the back, it looks like. He does know that they are not in cross positions, but they're top right and top bottom, so they're closer to each other. We do see some lings coming out here for Type B. I'm assuming Type B is going to possibly go for an expansion here. I don't quite see, can't quite see on the mini-map. We have to view this small, so it's sometimes kind of hard to see. And Overlord is going to see that, and you can hear the reaction from everybody there. Overlord, I think, went up just far enough, and then Type B pulled it away. But the proxy factory has been spotted, and oh, they are going to go to the first-person view of Type B to see if he can see it, and he can see the factory being built. So, or wait, no, can he? I couldn't see from his map there. Either way, I'm pretty sure he did, or he wouldn't have pulled his Overlord away. So he is going to try to get the scouting SCVs out, and then I'm assuming he's going to go try to pick up that factory, unless he really didn't see it, which wouldn't make any sense considering his Overlord pulled away from there. So we're going to see some Vultures coming out here quickly for Leta to obviously try to get in there. This is actually very similar to what we saw in the last game GoGo tried to do. Now obviously he failed, That was at quite a different level, though. This is a very smaller map, 3-player map, so it is certainly easier to reinforce with Marines or in this case, well, I suppose it would just be Marines, because he's building vultures in the factory far away, and he can't necessarily reinforce very quickly. Alright, we are going to see a vulture trick. Now, an Overlord right there, so, of course, Type B is going to be quite aware of this, and I don't know why, but it seems like Terran players tend to have a really tough time putting the vulture through. I saw Fantasy kind of failing at that too. Alright, well, I guess second try is not bad, but we do see Hydralisks ready and waiting, so that vulture is going to get absolutely nowhere. It's going to get picked off right here, and it's done. Great job being assertive by Type B, and that's what this map is all about. It's not only about getting expansions around the map, it is about sneaking, being just a sneaky person, very shady, Lady of the Night, going around trying to sneak into your opponent's base and seduce his units in the back door. Just kind of walk up to the back door and being like, hey, how you doing? And, you know, drawing them out. And then, like a Black Widow killer, destroying them later on. I don't know where that analogy came from. Anyways, okay, we're going to see a small little push here coming up. Actually, kind of an aggressive push here with Hydralisk. Now, obviously, we have that missed chance because of the ramp. This might be a mistake here. Losing some units. Medics are out. He's going to have to retreat. Type B, smart job retreating. That was not a bad idea. Medics coming out just in time and showing up there to reinforce. And a factory not knowing what to do. And look at that. We have attack going on here on the factory from multiple sides. Obviously, those Hydralisks aren't going to take it out, but factory basically becoming completely useless here for Leta. So Type B, I think, is looking good here. He did lose some Zerglings, but only just a couple Hydralisks. You see him making the he's going to make a sunken colony in order to kind of get some units ready or get some defense ready, excuse me, if Leta does try to go on to the attack here. Now, Leta is not by any means behind at this point. Notice there's well, there really hasn't been any harass on either player, and a Medic Marine force definitely strong enough to take out this Hydralisk force here, moving out, stimming up, and is going to push that back to Type B's base. He's not going to, I don't think, push out strong with that force. It's not big enough yet. And just one Marine on gas here, so we aren't going to see any sort of mech build or anything. You did see that earlier. There was 3 SCVs on gas, but it looks like that's getting pulled off. So we could see Leta giving it a little bit longer and then probably going for an expansion, one of those back